What's going on, guys? Welcome to another Out of the Cage podcast. I'm Alec.
I'm Harley.
Sorry for the wait on this podcast. I took a job that was ridiculous. I worked 82 hours this week. Yeah, we're not going to stick with that. But, did you have a good week, man?
It's been pretty good, yeah. I'm glad we got a long weekend.
Dude.
Got Friday off. This is Thursday. I don't know when y'all are going to see this, but this is Thursday the 2nd, July the 2nd.
Sounds about right, yeah.
Yeah, got Friday off, got a long weekend, 4th of July. Woo woo!
So obviously, guys, we're just kind of waiting it out for 251. The Dustin Poirier, Dan Hooker fight card was ridiculous. We will get into that this episode. This episode's kind of going to be more about that card and all the talk in the UFC, kind of the drama going on.
Yeah. A little bit of a recap.
Right.
Our thoughts.
Right.
You know.
I guess we'll just jump right into it, man. So first off, we got a question from Dalton Cook. Shout out to Dalton.
Yeah, man. Thanks for your feedback.
Absolutely. And like I said, guys, anything you comment, we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
That's kind of why we're doing it. Dalton asked what we think about John Jones exiting his contract. What are your thoughts, man?
I mean, obviously I'm not a fighter. I've never been offered one of those contracts. I don't know what all that entails. I do know John Jones is making stupid money to fight. I do know that. So
you make a lot of money when you're the baddest man on the planet.
Yeah, I mean when you're always at the top of the pound for pound conversation, I mean you're making the money. So to me, hearing anything about this guy wanting more is honestly it's a little annoying because like, dude, you're making money I'm probably never gonna make. So
and not to mention his sponsorships and
yeah, I mean, dude's not hurting for money, if you ask me, but I don't know. The whole Francis argument, I kind of understand wanting a little more money to go up and fight Francis. There's more risk involved. He's going to a bigger weight class. You know, it's a whole different animal. And not to mention how scary Francis is. But like I said, it's just, I don't know, man. I don't know the details. I don't know what kind of money he's asking for. I don't know that we'll ever know what kind of money was being asked. But
that's the thing, man. That none of the fighters really communicate on what they make, I guess. So that's kind of hard. Me and him were talking about it earlier. I think John, obviously he's made a huge name in the UFC, right? But I'm kind of getting to the point where you're just starting stuff to start stuff, and you're not backing it up. So Dalton also asked what if we think he'll fight Izzy.
If you had asked 6 months ago, I would have said yeah.
Absolutely.
I'd have said yeah, I think that'll happen. Now,
I don't know, man. He's talking about going up 60 pounds to fight Ngannou. Now, he's right in the middle, right? So you got Izzy who's over here, and then you got Francis who's over here. You got to pick one, man.
Yeah.
And as fight fans, I'll be happy with either one. I don't care.
Either
just
way,
pick something.
Yeah.
Because you're starting all this Twitter beef for what, bro? If you're not gonna fight somebody, I don't care.
Yeah. I might get some flack for saying this, but I feel like John is just trying to stay relevant. He's just throwing this stuff out there, and let's just say he asked for like $30 million to fight Francis. You're gonna throw a number out there to price yourself out of the conversation. That way you don't look like a little girl for backing down and not taking the fight, but you're also not looking bad for not stepping up to take the fight. You know what I mean? So, like I said, I feel like he's just trying to create some smoke where there's not any smoke, maybe.
And another thing, Izzy wasn't asking for more money when he wanted to fight him. Izzy just wanted to fight him.
Yeah.
Granted, John Jones has a lot more pull in the UFC because he's the baddest man on the planet. you just gotta pick one, man. You just gotta, like, if he tweeted right now, "Hey, I'm fighting Izzy," great, but do
Fantastic.
it.
Yep. Let's go somewhere with this thing.
And I don't care either way. I just want to see him fight somebody because, let's be honest, he's kind of cleaned out light heavyweight.
Yeah.
There's been some close fights. I don't see John Jones having an issue in that weight class.
No. I would like to see a Reyes rematch, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
I will say that.
Absolutely.
I would love to see that. I don't think John wants that, though.
He's just in a weird spot, man. It doesn't seem like he's able to get excited for fights anymore.
Yeah.
When you beat everybody, I understand. But
yeah, it's understandable.
When you have something exciting like Izzy or Ngannou, I can see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, shout out to you, Dalton, thanks for posting that question.
Thank you for your comment.
Keep them coming, man.
Yeah.
So let's get into the fight night. I guess we'll start with Mike Perry and Mickey Gall. What do you think?
Well, we were talking a few minutes ago. We were trying to get a game plan going, and I kind of stumbled on this little nugget in my mind because I hadn't really thought about it yet. But doing these conversations, it really, my gears get to turning, and I think about things I didn't think about before.
Yeah.
So talking about the Mike Perry versus Mickey Gall fight, obviously it's kind of impressive that Mike came out and won with no corner. He just had his girlfriend in his corner, giving him words of encouragement, basically, is all she did. But the thing that impressed me about Mike Perry was that he was able to come out and take down and control a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. And Mike Perry's not a black belt, if you didn't know.
His girlfriend wrestled in high school.
Yeah, his coach or his girlfriend or whatever you want to call her was a wrestler in high school. But Mike Perry came out and showed he can hang on the ground. He's not just a brawler that has some hands. He really did show that he has a ground game. So I was very impressed with that. What about you?
So I agree with that, but at the same time, Mickey Gall, he's 7 fights he's had against somebody like Mike Perry, he's well known, man. He's a fighter.
Yeah.
Mickey Gall is a bad man on the ground. But I was telling him, being a black belt in jiu-jitsu is you're a bad man, like, period.
Yeah.
Jiu-jitsu is one of the hardest mixed martial arts there is. But it's hard to show how good you are when you're getting hit in your face.
Yeah.
And that's with anything. There's a different pressure, and especially when you're fighting somebody who's been around that long, who's that vocal, who's that high motor. That's hard, man. That's really hard. I do see Mickey Gall being really good in the future. I just don't think this was a fight he was ready for. We'll see what happens with him. Mike Perry, we're going to get into that a little later, all the Mike Perry stuff. Maurice Green and Volante.
It was a good fight.
It was a weird fight.
It was weird, but it was a good fight. I've never been the biggest Maurice Green fan, but he looks pretty good on his feet. I think John, I don't know how to say his name. It's like Gian. I guess it's John, I don't know.
You know what we're talking about.
Volante. I think he had the edge on the feet. I mean, he was obviously doing more damage. Maurice was cut up pretty bad.
He had the Mercedes-Benz logo on his cheek.
Yeah, he was chewed up pretty bad towards the end of the fight, but you got to give it to Green for hanging in there and getting that late submission. I mean, as weird as it was, we don't really know what it was, but it worked. So, you can't really argue.
Win's a win.
Yeah, an inch or a mile, win's a win, right?
So my thing with Maurice Green, I think he thinks he's more technical than he is, going for that Superman punch. I think Volante could have won that fight if he didn't get so excited. You get a guy like Maurice Green, and he's pretty well known. I don't think he's a top tier fighter by any means, but you get a knockdown on him and you swarm him. All that energy you're using from your adrenaline, from excitement from rushing him, I think that's a big part in why he got choked out the way he did. And I could be wrong, man. I've never been put in that situation where I'm getting cranked on like that. But I think composure is the name of the game.
Yeah.
I don't think somebody who's a top 8, top 5 fighter, I don't think that would have happened to them. And I don't think that really speaks on anything for Maurice's ground game or Volante's. I think it's just one of those things, man. It's a weird situation.
Yeah.
What was the other fight? Allen and Dawkins?
Oh, yeah.
Dawkins.
Brandon Allen and Kyle Dawkins.
Another weird fight. A war, but a weird fight.
It was war for sure.
Um,
You're talking about, ground games. Both of these guys were black belts, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belts. And, I mean, they showed it. Both of these guys were just animals on the ground. The control, the positions. I mean, it was a good fight to watch. It really was. It was exciting.
I have high hopes for them just because I didn't see a lot of hesitation.
Yeah, they both looked really good.
First round, Allen really put the pressure on and stuck to him, You see a lot of guys, they get put in those situations that they're not comfortable with and they think about it too much. Both of these guys, it was just one after the other, consistent. I think Dawkins had really good instinct, though. He looked like he was constantly thinking about what to do and doing it. He was just running through it, and that's a big part of fighting, man. You got to be able to do it on the fly. You got to be able to change any position. What do you think about it?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, I was very impressed with Allen. I mean, you kind of said it, just to be honest with you. I mean, not to knock Kyle Dawkins by any means. I mean, that was a super close fight, super close fight. And I mean, in my eyes, the decision could have went either way. I mean, I know they gave it to Allen, but honestly, if they'd have gave it to Dawkins, I wouldn't have been mad about it.
It wasn't a blowout.
No, I wouldn't have said that Allen got robbed by any means. But yeah, I have high hopes for both of those guys. I mean,
super young.
Yeah, they're both talented, super talented. Their stand-up looked a lot better than you would expect for two grapplers. I mean, first 2-3 minutes of that round was just standing and banging. I mean, they were
body kicks, bro.
They were throwing some heat. So they're both on the up and up. I think they both have a big potential.
And we like seeing fights like that. We want to see guys who could potentially make a name for themselves. The reason I keep looking down, we have all our notes here on what we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
That Sato fight, bro. Sato.
Oh yeah, Sato. Takashi Sato. Man, I feel bad for what was his name?
We don't have to talk about
I feel bad now. I can't even remember the guy's name.
He can't either.
I feel bad because he just, man, boom, boom, and it was over.
I didn't see enough to really be able to talk about this fight. I can't analyze it.
Yeah.
All I can say is Sato able to break that guard and really slip those jabs up under, and then he followed it with he's a lefty, so he jabbed and then snuck it right up under that block, man, and well, you saw what happened.
Right on the button.
Here's what we're here to talk about. We just watched it back, and this fight left me speechless. Dustin Poirier and Dan Hooker. I'll let you get into it, man.
So, there's been some fantastic fights so far this year. I mean, it's been a year of fights for sure. I mean, there's been some wars that we've gotten to see, and that's exactly what we got in this fight. I mean, these two dudes came out and just throwing for the first 2.5 rounds.
And landing.
Yeah, and landing. It wasn't just swinging. They were swinging and connecting. So for me, this was definitely a Fight of the Year candidate, for sure.
Absolutely.
I mean, these guys, they're warriors. They're savages. These guys were going out eating the best shots that each one had to throw and just walking through it like it didn't even happen. Like, there were a couple of times I can't remember exactly what day I was watching it. My wife was doing something, and I just started cracking up on the couch, and she's like, "What are you laughing at?" And I was like, "I can't even believe this is a real fight. Like, this is like something you'd see in a video game. Like, you'd see this on UFC 3 or something, but you'd never see this in an actual fight." But it did.
It was
real.
consistent the whole
Yeah,
fight.
it was
just
the
like
whole
a first
fight,
round
man.
thing.
This is the whole fight. You couldn't ask for a better fight out of these guys. It's incredible.
I just watched it back because I haven't had a chance to really dive into it. I saw some highlights. I was telling him by the second round, I didn't know how anybody was still up.
Yeah.
Dustin was so efficient, but so was Dan. And I know there's strikes and significant strikes. Every strike was significant.
Yeah.
Even when Dan went to the ground in the third, Dustin was just eating him up with those bows and those backhands. But then, I don't know, the clinch, it was, everywhere they went, it was just an all-out war.
Yeah. There was never any position they were in where it was completely one-sided. Like he was just saying, Dan took Dustin down, and then Dustin starts landing shots off the bottom, just chewing him up with elbows and backhands and punches. And Dan's over here landing shots of his own. They're just sitting here trading in guard. Like, what's happening right now? We never see stuff like this. It was incredible. It was really incredible.
I think Dan gave up on those calf kicks a little early.
Yeah, I would have liked to have seen him got back to that a little bit, because he was really hurting that.
That was managing Dustin's jab. It was kind of, he's Dustin, man. He's not very technical, and he hands down kind of guy, and that leg kick keeps him honest. It keeps him from throwing those wild shots, man. Because Dustin, he sits on him, bro. He slings him in there. This is another fight. Could have went either way. I was trying to score it while we were watching, and
it was too much.
I gave the second round, the only round I'm for sure about is second. I think that went to Dan. But then after that, dude, I think, like I said, I think Dan had more control, but I think Dustin did more damage. And that's kind of the problem with the UFC now, is the judging. Some guy in Vegas might say, "Oh, well, takedowns, they're huge. Dustin got back up." And then somebody would be like, "Well, if he didn't do anything on the ground, what does it matter?" It's a weird. You have guys who don't know fights judging. Like I said, I don't know how to score that one. That was one that.
Yeah, it was definitely watching the results. I mean, I wouldn't have been mad either way it went. That's another fight. It could have went both ways, and I was totally fine. I understand the judge's decision of going with Dustin, but like I said, man, if Dan had slid in and got the decision, I wouldn't have been mad about that either. Which I picked Dan to win that fight, but I never would have thought it would have been that good of a fight. I was very surprised.
I think Dustin just threw a little more.
Yeah, I think so. Well, and he definitely was landing more. He was more accurate or efficient. That's the word I'm looking for. He was more efficient with his shots than Dan was.
But then Dan would clinch him up and throw a knee, and I'm like, oh, he's out.
Yeah.
If Dan would have done that to anybody else, the fight would have been over.
Oh, yeah.
But if Dustin would have done that,
I mean, you could say it. Yeah, both sides. Either way. If you'd have put anybody else against either other guy, fight would have ended in the second round. For sure. But we got what we got, and it was a war.
It was a war. And we both agree, neither of them should move in the rankings. I don't think Dan deserves to drop from 5 at all.
No.
Yeah, it was, like I said, it could have went either way.
Yeah.
with that, man, let's talk about the 155 division. I'm gonna let you get into this because I had my opinions on it, and then he told me his, and I gotta agree with him on these.
Well, we're kind of both agreeing with Uncle Chael P. Sonnen a little bit, because
He's never been wrong.
I ripped this off of his podcast, but he said it and it made a whole lot of sense to me, and so I kind of adopted it. Like, yeah, I kind of have to agree. I think that's where this goes from here. But he was saying that Dan and Dustin are still in a fight, but now it is the Tony Ferguson sweepstakes. It's who's going to get to fight Tony Ferguson next, because obviously Justin and Khabib are tied up. They're your champion and your interim champ. They got to fight in September, so neither one of them is going anywhere. They're already, in fight camp, getting ready. So the only other guy out is Tony Ferguson. He's your number one contender, your number two, however you want to call that. But Tony's ready to fight, and he needs somebody to fight. And
it's all messed up, bro.
As Chael was saying, typically the guy who's coming off a loss fights another guy that's coming off a loss. So that would put Dan and Tony fighting, which I would love to see. But Dan's at number 5, Tony's at number 2, Dustin is your number 3 guy. How do you deny Dustin that fight if he wants that fight?
Absolutely.
Also would love to see Dustin and Tony fight. So Chael said it kind of boils down to who calls out Tony first, which I did see Dan call him out on Twitter today. So I don't know if that fight's going to get lined up or if they're going to give it to Dustin, I don't know, but
it's
a mess, dude. It's such a mess. But to kind of finish out the thought, what Chael said that he would like to see, and I'm totally behind this, I would love to see Hooker versus Ferguson, and then here's your big one, Dustin versus Conor. Think about that. Let that stew around in your nugget a little bit. Because Conor needs a fight. Conor wants to fight. Doesn't have anybody to fight. Well, Dustin just came out and proved to everybody that he's probably your number 1 guy, arguably over Tony Ferguson, because he just won. Tony's coming off a loss, and it's all about
brutal loss.
Oh yeah, savage. I mean, that's just, it hurts my heart to think about, to be honest. But
it's that tough.
How do you line all this up? It's just so complicated right now. So Dustin and Conor, I think, is a great fight to make. They've already fought. If you know your history a little bit, Conor blew him out like 6 years ago or something. The problem is Dustin is not that fighter anymore. Dustin has grown leaps and bounds over the years, and he was the interim champ at 155. Just in case everybody forgot, he was the interim champ. So if you put Dustin and Conor against each other, these guys, neither one of them has anything to lose. I mean, I guess Conor does. If Conor loses to Dustin, then you kind of have to take him out of the picture a little bit at 155. But everybody's wanting to see Conor come back and get another fight in before he takes on or goes for a Khabib rematch, right? Everybody says he needs to fight a contender before he can earn that title shot.
Which is crazy to me, but
it is what it is. I mean, I understand both sides of it. I mean,
Yeah.
Conor's a former world champ. Obviously, he should be fighting for world championships. But also, he's been out of the 155 division for a minute. Kind of needs to fight somebody in the division right now to get back in the rankings. I get it. But if Conor comes out and he beats Dustin, who is arguably your number 1 guy right now at 155, Conor becomes your number 1 contender. And I'm sorry, I'll finish up and then I'll let you have it. If Dustin beats Conor, you can't deny Dustin either.
which, like you said, dude, Dustin, he's not the same guy, bro. Here's my thing. Like I was saying, knowing the UFC, they're here for the money, right? Do you give Conor a shot if Gaethje beats him with Khabib? It's all We're not in the business. When you told me all that, I was like, that makes sense. My thoughts were, I didn't have a reason behind it. And then when I listened to him say that, I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, that could work.
Yeah.
But then one weird switch could throw it all out of whack. I think fights need to be happening sooner, right? I think you just got to get these fights done and to really see where the ball lies. Because right now, these guys are so close. It's not like Conor can go in there and just blow Dustin out. I mean, he can, but they're all so close, and Hooker's so good. Hooker could fight Conor or whoever. It's everybody. All these guys are contenders. There's not somebody that's like stands out in the pack. But then to throw another wrench in it, you have Paul Felder, who would take a fight to come back, who we all want to see come back, and Charles Oliveira slowly creeping up.
Yeah, he's on a tear.
Creeping up, man.
We've said it before. Charles Oliveira, man, he's creeping in there. He really is. I mean, it's
such a weird way.
It's such a messy division. It really is. There's just so much talent. I mean, every commentator, all the podcast guys, everybody will tell you 155 is the most stacked division in the UFC. And that's exactly what you're seeing right here. I mean, your top 5 guys are Khabib, Gaethje, Tony, Dustin, Conor, and Dan Hooker. That's like murderer's row. I mean, any one of those guys on any given night could go out and win a world championship. Any one of them. It's just a matter of who you put in there at the given time.
Those are, you know me, guys. We talked about it in the last podcast. I'm a betting man. You know, I'm gonna lose money in this division. It's gonna happen, dude.
It's a horrible division to bet on.
Because I have my ideas of who's gonna win these fights, and I can be like, oh yeah, I have to think for this, and this, and I do my research. Buddy, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
If you bet on the last card, from our first podcast, going from what we said, I think we did pretty good. I think we got like one wrong.
I don't know. I'd have to listen to it again and be honest with you. I know I got Hooker wrong because I picked Hooker to win, but I think he was the underdog in that fight too.
And I think we'll be right on 251.
Yeah.
I mean, you had a few disagreements, but we had for the ones we did agree on, like I said, I'm a betting man. I would bet money that we're right. Buddy, Hooker, Ferguson, Dustin, I don't know what to do.
He's big.
I don't. And the thing that gets me is I've never seen a division, because there's a lot of stacked divisions right now, right? But there's people, you know where they stand. There's nothing to set them apart. Everybody can win these fights. I don't know if Ferguson has like mental problems after what just happened to him.
I would.
That's the one I'm, dude. Jesus, man.
That's just, it was so bad. So bad.
And for this, and this is even if Conor comes down from 170, if that's what he wants to do, which, please, Conor, if you ever see this, come back to 155.
Yeah, please do. I'm scared for you at 170.
Dude, and he's a bad man, but 170, those are big boys, man.
Yeah.
I feel like he does his best work at 155.
I do too.
I mean, that's like Max. Dustin beat him at 55. I think you got to find where you stand. I don't think Conor is in that weight class at 170. I don't think that's him. I don't even want to talk about this, dude.
Yeah. This has been like my favorite thing to follow for the past couple of weeks.
I'm mad.
I love it. It's so funny. There's been a lot of things said that I'm not going to say on here, but if you want a good laugh, go and follow Darren Till on Twitter. Because you won't regret it, I promise.
He's making burner accounts just to talk.
Okay, just to tell you, he made, 3, if not 4 different Twitter accounts just to troll Mike Perry.
One was called like Daddy Dana or whatever.
Just to troll Mike Perry. And then to top it off, MikePerryIsABum.com. Check that one out.
It's a real website.
It's real.
It's
And I love it.
And they're getting into the real deal, right? Whew. Darren Till is a monster.
Yeah.
I'm
a Darren Till fan. They call him the gorilla, and it is accurate.
And it's not even that I'm a big fan of either. I mean, I love Mike Perry, but I like Darren Till too. Darren Till is huge, bro. And Mike Perry has never fought in that weight class. And I could see if you were calling out somebody that's not Darren Till, anybody that's not Darren Till. He's Darren Till, bro. He mauls people. And especially if, let's say, Mike Perry coming off a win from Mickey Gall wants to go fight Darren Till, buddy, that's not the move. That's not the... You test the waters a little bit, brother.
Try somebody else first.
Because then you had Darren Till fighting Robert Whittaker, who arguably some of the best boxing in that division.
Yeah.
And listen, I'm gonna call it like it is. Mike Perry's not on that level.
I don't think so.
He's a warrior. He's a beast. These guys are murderers.
Yeah. Mike Perry's a savage. I will say that. Mike Perry is a savage. And I love that Street Fighter mentality, but
this ain't it.
You can't be a Street Fighter and fight Darren Till. Or, God forbid, Robert Whittaker. Yeah, you can't. I mean, that's...
Jesus, could you imagine, bro?
Wow.
Yeah, man, but I think Till and Whittaker's going to be great.
Yeah, it's going to be a great fight.
My take is going to be, so Mike wants to go train with Yoel, right?
Yeah, he said that a couple times.
I think once you get a hold of a grown man like that and Yoel Romero, you're going to be like, oh, I get it now.
Yeah.
I get it. This isn't for me. I'm a 170 guy. I could be wrong, dude, because Mike Perry's a psychopath. But
could be wrong about all of this, but right now I don't have any reason to think otherwise.
At least dip your toes in first, man. Don't.
Which I do like the idea that he wants to go train with Yoel Romero and kind of feel him out and see how he feels with Yoel. I like that. But even if you do get a good feel for 185, fight Darren Till first. That's going to be your debut at 185.
That boy is heavy.
I don't like that idea. But
and if you would have beat somebody bigger in 170, not size-wise, but somebody who had a name, maybe I see it. You beat Mickey Gall, man.
Yeah.
And right now you're focused on. You don't even have a team. You're focused on your girlfriend being in your corner. Great, you won. I get it.
Yeah, not saying anything bad about that. I mean, you got the job done, but
you can't do that against somebody like Darren Till.
You're gonna have to have a corner for something like that.
You're fighting a pro.
I don't think you're gonna be able to fight on a championship level if you don't have a corner.
No,
I just don't.
Mm-mm. Hitting the bag gonna get you so far.
Yeah.
Because you got to think, these dudes, your Darren Tills, your Robert Whittakers, these guys are learning every day.
Yeah.
They're in the gym being put in these situations at really, really good teams with really good coaches. And at the end of the day, no matter how disciplined you are, it makes it a lot easier when you have a coach that is pushing you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I don't even... We'll talk about it when it comes.
Hopefully. I don't know. I don't know if I hope that fight happens or not. I don't know.
Who knows, dude? Mike Perry could swell up and be a beast.
It could happen.
But we're talking Darren Till. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
Pewter Yan and O'Malley going back and forth.
Yeah. It's another one that's been fun to watch.
I mean, I'd like to see that fight.
I would love to. Yeah.
he's a bad man. So is Sugar Show, baby. What are your thoughts on that?
It's hard to say. I do think that Sean is going to be a champion someday.
Yeah.
I don't know if he is quite there yet. I said it a couple weeks ago, or maybe in our last episode, that, we were talking about him versus Cody Garbrandt. That's a terrible idea. I want to see Sean fight somebody close to the top 5, like give him a number 5, number 6, 7 guy. Let him fight somebody in that area, see how he does. If he blows them out like he has everybody else, then, give him whoever you want.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's ready for Peter Yan. I really don't, because, the guy's fighting Jose Aldo next weekend for the championship.
For the belt.
Yeah, and he's the favorite to win, if that tells you anything.
And I don't think it's BS. Peter Yan, in my opinion, is the best person in that division.
Yeah, he's a savage.
That's another stacked division, but...
Yeah.
See, I think O'Malley has that star power, and I think he's a brilliant fighter. I said it before, I don't know about his ground game. I question it. If this fight was happening this weekend, who are you betting on?
Yan and O'Malley?
Mm-hmm.
I'm a Sean O'Malley fan, so I don't want to bet against him, but also, it's Peter Yan, I'd probably have to take Peter Yan.
I don't want to lose money, but...
who would you take?
I would have to really look into how Sean O'Malley trains with his ground game. Peter, he mauls people, man. I don't think I could bet against him. But then the last fight with Sean O'Malley, he fought, what's that guy's name?
Dang it, we just saw it.
Yeah. But he's been so dominant. He's
just... Oh, Eddie Winland.
Yeah.
Yeah, Eddie Winland.
Just super dominant, man. That's a weird one.
Yeah.
Hopefully we see a couple more fights from both, and I can really narrow it down to how I feel.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what I keep saying about Sean O'Malley. Like, I just want to see a little more of him. I want to see him get pushed. I want to see somebody test him and see how he responds. Because so far he hasn't had that. It's just been blowouts. So I want to see somebody take him to the ground, test him a little bit, and, we'll see how he responds to that.
Take him to those deep waters.
Yeah, drag him in.
It's the Conor McGregor theory, dude. Maybe there isn't anybody that'll dominate Sean O'Malley until later on in his career. But I don't think you make that jump so early. I don't.
And to bounce off that Conor theory, Conor didn't make that jump right away either. A lot of people don't remember, but he had a lot of fights before he started really climbing the rankings. It wasn't until he beat Dennis Seaver that people even thought that he was the real deal.
Yeah.
That was his coming out party. And Dennis Seaver was the number 10 guy at the time. So.
Now, with that being said, I know this is a topic you've really wanted to talk about. Cody Garbrandt, bro.
I love it.
My man said, I'm going to grow a beard and grow my hair out and do nothing but train.
Yeah. He said, I'm going to move away from Team Alpha Male and I'm going to turn into a savage and I'm going to get my belt back.
He pulled a Rocky, bro. Went up in the mountains and just lost his mind.
He kind of did, man. He left his camp, left his family, said he needed to sacrifice a little bit to get his love back for the game. And boy, did he ever. Wow.
I haven't seen a knockout like that in a long time.
Yeah.
Off the back foot.
Yeah.
Swink.
Just a quick little slip, right hand.
And he looked, in the conference, he looked a lot more humble. If that was to stick around, I think that's a Cody that could beat TJ Dillashaw. Obviously, that fight probably won't happen again.
Yeah.
But, that sets Cody up for some big fights, man.
Yeah.
Who knows? He could come back and get a title shot.
Now, I'm going to throw a curveball at you.
Oh, God.
I think TJ still has, another year on his suspension? Or he's got until, 2021 maybe before he can come back.
Mm-hmm.
And he said he was promised a title fight when he comes back. And he's not demanding that. He said, if they want me to fight first before I get a title fight, cool, that too. He's just saying that they promised him a title fight. So, my curveball is this. What if we see Cody Garbrandt get his belt back, and then in 2021, TJ comes back and says, hey, I want that belt back?
I would love to see it, but here's my issue. I'm so sick and tired of TJ Dillashaw, bro. They could be like, oh, he's never going to fight again. Thank you. I'm so tired of hearing about this cheating dude. He's this, he's that. Yeah, he's great. But it's easy to be great when you always have an edge on somebody. Dude, you're going to get me fired up, bro. You're going to get me fired up, bro. I hate that.
I know, man. I know. We talked about it before. My man gets fired up about TJ, man.
So the mixed martial arts, dude, it's not like football. It's not like baseball. This is man on man. And if you have to cheat to really step out and do, I lose respect for you.
Yeah.
It took me a long time to get over the whole John Jones thing. When he was, but I think it's been proven enough now that he is the baddest man. You know what I mean?
It's undeniable at this point.
Now, if TJ was to come back and really ball out, okay, maybe you might change my mind. But as of right now, I have zero respect for him, other than he's a good fighter. Congratulations, you. And it wasn't like it was just one fight. How many? He tested positive for it. They went back on the blood test 5 fights. And, oh man, that's not the move, man. That's not. And who knows, dude? He could have still beat Cody either way. I mean, he knocked Cody out. But that gives the argument. Your legacy is forever going to have that tear.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to get off this subject before I get pissed. But it's just, I just don't like TJ Dillashaw, even as a person. When he was on the Ultimate Fighter, he was the coach. I can't stand him. I'm going to throw another curveball at you.
Okay.
Cody gets his belt back. Mr. Cruz wants a title shot.
Oh, man. I don't know about that one. Because, Cody embarrassed him the first fight.
Bad.
Embarrassed him.
What if he gets the belt and the Cringe King comes back?
You got to give the King of Cringe a rematch on Triple C. You got to give him a shot. That's
whatever keeps TJ out of the run. I don't care.
As long as TJ's not in the conversation, we can have it all day. But no, I honestly don't know, man. If Cody gets that belt and Dom wants a rematch, I'm 100% buying that pay-per-view.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because watching Cody embarrass Dominic the first fight,
it was fun.
That was one of the craziest things I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
And I remember being I was at a pool hall watching that on pay-per-view because I couldn't get in anywhere else. Me and a couple of buddies were. And they weren't really fight guys. And I'm sitting there watching it and I'm thinking, man, you guys don't even realize what's happening right now. I was like, this dude is dancing on Dominic Cruz. Dominic Cruz can't touch this man.
It's
insane, man.
That's even if Cody does it,
Yeah, that's all given. Cody does get his belt back. But if the Cody we saw fight as soon as Sal sticks around, watch out. Watch out.
That boy hits hard, bro. He hits so hard. Anything else came to your head while we were talking?
Nah, man. I got a couple ideas rattling around for another podcast, but we'll save it for a later date.
Have to stay tuned.
Yeah, stick around. I got some some good nuggets.
My wheels are turning now.
Blow your mind a little bit.
Well, again, shout out Dalton Cook, bro. Thank you for the comment.
Thanks again, my man.
Keep them coming, man. We love it. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. I'm going to try to get this podcast up before the weekend. It's Thursday right now. I'm still learning this whole YouTube thing, man. We both are.
This is a new thing for both of us.
But like I said, just keep them coming. Like, comment, subscribe. Give suggestions. DM us. Email us. Whatever you want to do. We want to make this very, I don't know. We want you guys to be integrated in the podcast.
Yeah. User friendly? Is that the...
Very user friendly.
I don't know about it. I don't guess you're using this. You're more watching or listening.
You can use it to win some money when we make our bets.
Yeah. Don't bet on me though. I don't bet because I'm terrible. Don't bet on me. If you want to bet, listen to him.
I've had a pretty good year, but
yeah, don't listen to me.
That's just it. But yeah, guys, thank you for watching another episode of Out of the Cage, and we will see you next time.